Hello friends, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Kristen. I'm the maker behind DoSo Knits, which is this YouTube channel where I share with you guys how knitting and other fiber crafts have woven into my life. Today's video is another podcast episode, so if you're new, welcome. Make sure you like and subscribe so you know when I post all my future videos. But in these podcasts, I just like to share the finished objects that I finished since I last recorded and what I'm currently working on, in addition to some new acquisitions as well. If you'd like to follow me other places, I am DoSo Knits here on YouTube, Instagram, and Ravelry. And then in the show notes down below, I link to all of my Ravelry project pages, and I link to yarns and everything else as well. So make sure to check that out if you need some additional information. So I'm going a little off the cuff today. I did not write the show notes like I normally do. It basically came down to writing the show notes this weekend or recording. So we're just gonna record, see how it goes. And yeah, I hope you have something to work on, maybe something cozy to drink. I am drinking a limoncello LaCroix. This is a question. Do you say LaCroix or LaCroix? I've always been a LaCroix person, but then so I heard people say LaCroix, and now I don't know what to say. So let me know, what do you say? So I'm drinking that, and yeah, we'll just dive right into it. I don't have much admin at the beginning. Well, I guess the only admin is I typically post every 2 weeks, but I did not post last week, and that is because I just needed a little bit of a break. If you follow me on Instagram, I did post about it there, but I have started a new job. Everything is great. I am very happy with this new job. I'm working at a local nonprofit here in Denver in their finance team, and I'm loving it. I've done 2 weeks so far, and I am very, very happy. But with that shift, I just needed a little bit of a break. So I took last week off, but now we're back and recording here today. So with that new job, it has taken a little bit of my knitting time as well. It's all good. I can already sense, even after the second week, I just had a little more knitting time than I did the first week. And once I kind of get settled in, I think everything will feel amazing and status quo. I definitely missed some of my knitting, but that means I just don't have as much to show you today. So I didn't bring everything, but I did bring a good amount. And remember, it has been I think it's been 3 weeks since I last recorded. So not all of this has happened in the last week. I'm also trying a little bit of a different angle today. You can see we're a little more catty corner, and I've moved my Monstera plant into this corner. This used to be where my chair is, but my chair is now over here. And my Monstera is here, and I think it's a cute background. So Ebony has also decided it is time to come in here, because every time I start talking, she thinks it's the time to come in. Anyway, that's all the admin I have. Thank you for coming back and allowing me that space to take an extra week off. But let's move into what I've finished since the last episode. Alright, so I have finished a couple things. So the first thing I have finished is my Summer Saunter by Samantha Guerin. This is a t-shirt design, and I have finished it. I've also already worn this, and I love this shirt so much. I'm hoping to take some photos this afternoon, and hopefully if I do, they'll be in here. If not, definitely check out my Instagram once I post those. But I knit this in a yarn from Joann's. It was K&C Essential. It's a DK weight 100% cotton yarn, and this is my Summer Saunter. I love this shirt so much. It's a drop shoulder, so it's super simple, and then you have this really beautiful neckline detail, and that's what I think pulls this all together. So it's an eyelet detail with an I-cord bind off, and then for the sleeve, you're supposed to do a double over sleeve and then fold it and sew it down, but what I ended up doing is I just did the sleeve length and then an I-cord bind off on both sleeves, And then on the bottom hem, I did that folded hem. And so you get like a purl edge, and then you fold it and sew it down. The sewing down honestly wasn't too bad. It was a little time consuming, I will admit, but I think that was mostly I was sewing down every single stitch, and then by the end I realized, you know, I can sew down like every 2 to 3 stitches and it's still just as secure. So that would be my tip to help speed that up. You don't necessarily need to secure every stitch because you've already bound off and then you sew it down. So you don't need to go into every bound off stitch. You can go into every 2 or every 3 and it gets the job done. Yeah, that's what I would recommend. You don't need to secure every stitch. But in this pattern, I also added bust darts and waist shaping. I think you can see the waist shaping a smidge. But I love this. I've already worn it, like I said. Sherlock is here. Hi, buddy. And yeah, I have 2 more sweater quantities of this yarn, and I definitely will be using it again. Hi, buddy. I'm trying to record. I know, everyone loves to see you. Oh, thank you.
Where are you gonna sit? Oh, buddy. Hi. We're gonna walk later, okay? Okay? Can you get down? Thank you.
And the nice thing with this is I followed the length written in the pattern, and I only used 5 of my 6 skeins of yarn. So this is a very, I feel like my yardage got me a really long way. The cotton is, it's heavy but not too heavy. When I was wearing it, it was very comfortable, and like I said, I can see many more of these summer saunters in my future. So that is the first thing I finished since the last episode. And then the second thing I finished is actually a weaving project. So I wove a scarf using some of my Handspun, and here it is. It's just a gorgeous black scarf, and you can see these little blips of color. So this was some Handspun that I had made. It was a black merino with these little specks of sari silk throughout. This was a roving from One Thursday. She still has it in her shop. I was shopping from her this past week and it was still in there. I believe it's like Space Rocks, but it's just really beautiful. But when I started spinning this initially, I was aiming to do like a 3-ply, and then I ended up deciding to keep it as a single, but it was really thin in some spots, like almost lace weight. So, and I really wanted to show off, you know, the beautiful specks. So I decided to weave it. So I bought a black different yarn for the weft. You can see here I did little tassels at the end, but I went to my tried and true, my tested Knit Picks, and I bought Knit Picks Alpaca Cloud in the fingering weight because of my Handspun being a lace to fingering. And it's 100% superfine alpaca, and I thought in a scarf it would be delicious, and let me tell you, it is delicious. So I got my rigid heddle loom. I have an Ashford rigid heddle loom. It's a 16-inch. I warped it with the alpaca. I had purchased 3 skeins of this and I used 2 for the warp. I did a 95-inch long, and then my tassels are probably about 6, they're probably about 7 inches each, so maybe about 14 inches of waist from those. I just tied these in little tassels for the end, and then I just used my Handspun for the whole weft, and I probably only used about half of this Handspun. I still need to do my final like weighing to see how much this weighs, but I thought a black scarf for the fall and winter coming up would just be really lovely. I did it on a 10 reps per inch, so you can see it's still a little see-through. I think I might be in the market to getting like a 12 reps per inch, and what that is just the amount of warping threads you have every inch. So the smaller the yarn, you need a tighter weave. So it's still really nice, but I think I might want it a little more tight, a tighter weave. But let me put it on. So this is kind of the, you fold it in half and tuck it in. I think the length is really lovely. It's nice because it is not too chunky. It's definitely going to be a nice, I can wear that just like this, or I can wear it under another scarf or under a coat. And I think it looks really lovely. It's black, and I think it will, match a lot of wardrobe items but then the specks of color are just really fun. So this is my hand woven scarf with my hand spun yarn. And I have, like I said, I think about half of that, silk skein left. So I think what I'm gonna do is I have this alpaca, one skein left, and then I have 2 different shades of gray, 50 gram fingering weight merino and nylon skeins that I might do another scarf with and do like a big kind of like a big square, big chunky, like a plaid but not a plaid. I'm gonna do thick stripes in the warp and then do the weft in just that color. But that is the other thing I finished, and I love scarves on a loom. I probably will never knit a scarf again, unless I really, really love one. But I did that in 24 to 48 hours. I had Shane help me set up my loom just to hold the tension while I wound it on, but then it's so easy and fast and just super meditative. I love it, and can see more, like, scarves are going to be great gifts, I think. And I think this is a really good length. I think I've figured out my length that I like. I think I just may need a tighter weave. And you can see I still had some mistakes here. So I have like this one curly Q that's sticking out the side because since the yarn was a single, it had many imperfections and many twists on itself. But in this scarf, I think it's beautiful. And with the alpaca, it'll be very warm, and I love it. I think it's just gorgeous. So that is the second thing I finished. 3 skeins for this, and a really quick, gratifying project in the end. And that's all I have finished since last episode. I have many works in progress, so let's move over to that section and I'll show you what I have. So with my works in progress, I'm just looking at them right now, and I think most of them are new to you. Because I finished my summer saunter, and then I try to continue those sprints. I work on most of my main projects for about 4 hours and 4-hour rotations. So with my summer saunter that I finished, I hit that 4-hour mark and I was like, I'm just going to push through and finish this project, and that is something I can do. So the second thing that I've been working on has been my Pure Joy by Joji Locatelli. This is like my focus project now until I finish this. Needles at the ready, and Joji and I think Mayak are doing a Joji summer KAL, and that ends at the end of this month. So it's September 24th today. So I have until, what was it, Friday or Saturday to finish this, and I'm very, very close. I am in a terrible place to show you, so I apologize, but you'll see it in beauty next time. But I am on the last contrasting stripe for this. So I have finished all of the main color, short row wedges. Where this little gnome from Simply Serving is where I was last time. So I finished this section and I'm working on, you have one contrasting section in your contrast color at the end. So I have done, this is the thicker part of the wedge, that much of it, and my turns right now are about here, and I'm about a little more than halfway before this wedge is done. So this is what it's looking like right now. Sorry, I was working on it this morning and did not get to the end of a row when I set it down. But it's super simple. It's garter stitch in the round with short row turns, and it's so easy. So the main color that I was using is Needles at the Ready Cool Mint on the Apollo base. So it's 80% superwash merino and 20% nylon. And I ran out of that color on the last row of this section. So I went stash diving, and this very last Cool Mint row, you can see there's like this, it's like almost the same minty color, but there's these pops of like yellow, which weren't in the Cool Mint color, but it was so similar that I just finished the row with that, and no one will know. So you can see like there's, but it's so similar. So that's the main color, and then my contrasting color is Neighborhood Fiber Company, and this is the label. It's the Rustic Fingering. The color is Edgewood, and so this is a singles, and it's just 100% merino. So I was hoping to have this done for this episode, but it is not. However, I've already done my 4-hour sprint on it, but now I'm just in that home stretch where I want to finish this before the end of the month, get these skeins out of my stash, and enter it in for that knit along. And so yeah, this is my main focus project through the end of this week. But I think I'll be able to finish it. And yeah, it's been a really lovely project to work on. Like I said, it's all garter stitch other than those eyelet rows, which you don't do a ton of. Yeah, so it's pretty mindless, easy to do while watching TV or watching the F1 race like I did. And yeah, I think it'll be something that will be a nice transitional shawl for like the fall or the spring. My other main focus is these socks that I'm testing for Hookah Canyon. It is the Feathertail Socks, which is inspired by Fourth Wing, which I listened to that book while I was in Las Vegas, and I loved the book. So when Kim came out with this tester call, I knew I had to test these socks. So since the last episode, I have started and finished the first sock. It is a sparkle base. I don't know if you'll be able to see it there, but this is one of my Les Garçons Mysterious Boxes sock sets. So this was the Mysterious Crow sock set. I just thought the very simple color would be really beautiful. So that is the Mysterious Crow in the patterning. It's a really simple cable and then a beautiful, easy to memorize lace panel in the middle. And then I did it's Highland Coup for the contrasting color, which came with the sock set. Instead of the written heel flap, I have done a shadow wrap heel, and then I did my toe in the main color. So that is my first sock. I did these on Magic Loop with a 2.25 millimeter, and I am working on the second. So I have finished the cuff, the leg, and the heel, and now I am working on the foot, and I need to finish these by Wednesday. So In addition to my pure joy, these socks are my other focus. It's a really simple repeat. It's only 4 rows, and only one of those is the patterning row, which makes it really easy to work on. And I think it's really easy to read the stitches. And I think the lace panel is pretty intuitive once you get going. And yeah, I'm really loving it. I love the little bit of sparkle in here. I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but it's a silver sparkle. And with the Feathertail being the golden dragon in the book, and they say like she's really bright and shiny, I thought the silver sparkle would be beautiful. And then the back is just a plain stockinette. So these will be done next time for sure. And you should see them soon. I think next weekend is when they're out on 9/30, so make sure you follow Hygge Canyon for that. And then I'm putting these in my Mountain State Stitches bag, which just feels really, you know, on par for the Fourth Wing book. So these will be done very soon, and that's been my other project. So those are my 2 focuses. And then I have some other projects to share. I have a few other projects on the needle, such as my Attune shawl and Iris hat. Neither of those have gotten... I did 1 4-hour sprint on the Attune shawl, but it looks exactly the same, but slightly bigger. And then my Iris hat I have not really worked on. I think once it cools down, working on a mohair hat will feel a little better with my hands. But since then, I have started a couple pairs of socks. So for the Desert Vista Dye Works monthly knit along, the color I am doing this month is Zombody's Going to Rhinebeck, and this is my first sock. I did this during many meetings over the last few weeks. I did 3 colors for the cuff. I always cast on at a color change, and so that's what my cast on is. I just did a foot length that I liked, shadow wrap heel, and then foot with a round toe. And last night I just cast on the second sock, so it is ready for meetings for the upcoming week. And that's basically all this is so far. It's a 75-25 superwash merino and nylon blend, and I love this color. So these are definitely fall to me, fall colors, and I love seeing how they're working up. And I like having a pair of socks just to have on the needles for meetings. Definitely helps me focus and makes me feel less antsy. So then I went and cast on another pair of socks, and this is how far they are. I started these last night. And so this is a pair of socks for Shane. I did 60 stitches for these. They are on a US 0 9-inch circular. My socks were 56 stitches on a 9-inch circular. And this color is Opal, Regenwald 17, and this is the color Theo steht im Tor, which is Thea is standing in a gate. It's based on this tortoise color, and this is because I'm pulling from the center and I had some yarn vomit, so I wrapped the extra around here, and then eventually I'll be pulling from the center. So I just started some more fallish colored socks for Shane, because I found when I got to roughly time for the heel or time for the toe on my Desert Vista Dye Works socks, you know, if I wasn't in a place to work on that, I kind of didn't have anything to work on. So I've started another pair of socks just so I have kind of a backup in case these socks aren't in a place that's good for on the go. So I wanted to have a couple more socks on my needles just in case, because there were definitely times I hadn't started these yet and we were driving somewhere and I didn't have something to work on, so that was kind of knitting time that I could have worked on something and then didn't. So we're just gonna work on more socks. Could I have picked up my Iris hat? Yes. Did I? No. Do I want to work on socks? Yes. So that's what I did. And so then the last thing that I have started is a new garment. This is the Leith Cardigan by Rebecca Clow, also known as the Crayabea. I saw this cardigan, and so I went stash diving to see what I could find. And so this is a striped bottom up drop shoulder cardigan, and these are the colors I have picked. This is Knit Picks Wool of the Andes in the color Merlot Heather. And then this is my leftover Hudson Bay. It's the DK that Heritage DK, in the color Chestnut, I believe. It was my main color in my Heritage Harbor sweater. So I'm striping these two colors together. And in the pattern, Rebecca has this one pattern photo that's really multicolored and really, you know, lots of colors. And then the other one is like a red and purple, but only one side is striped and the other side is solid. And I love that version. And so that is the version I'm going for. I have started. Guess who's in the middle of a row? Me. But I have finished the ribbing and I have finished the first stripe. So I want your opinion. Do we like these colors together? So what I'm thinking is I'm going to stripe this side with these 4 round stripes with this, and then this side is going to be the solid red. I'm a little on the fence of whether I like it or not. I really like this, like, it's like a maroony, buttery, kind of browny red. And then this chestnut. I think I definitely need to do a contrasting stripe in the red to see how it'll look. Because right now it's looking just a little weird. It's kind of hard to envision the rest of the cardigan. So, but this was a 4-hour sprint. That's all I had done here. And then I set it down. So I think I'm definitely going to do at least 4 more rounds before I decide. I also went up a little bit in the sizing of this one. I normally do about a 48-inch circumference, but for this one I did a 50-inch. So I'm hoping it's not too big. So yeah, that's not a ton to show on it, but I am excited to have another, you know, garment on the needles. I'd like to get through. I really like working on garments, especially once I get going on them, but I do think sometimes I get a little hesitant after I start on. Does anyone else get like that? I get really excited, I swatch, I cast on, and then I start, and then I'm like, I don't know. I don't know if it's because like other patterns come out, like I really want to make a weekender crew, because I just feel like a crew neck would be so much nicer than the boat neck on the weekender. But there's so many sweaters I want to make. So I think that's really what happens. But those are all of my works in progress that I have to share. My main focuses are the Pure Joy and my Feathertail socks, and then after that we'll kind of see where it goes. I have some socks for meetings, and yeah, those are all of my works in progress. So I guess it's time to move into acquisitions. I said that very weird. Acquisitions. So I'm gonna be a little honest, and I've gone on a little bit of a buying spree. It's almost a little, like, it's a little celebration. And I bought a ton of stuff. So the first thing I have to show you was my Yarnable box for this month. And if you follow Kay from the Crazy Sock Lady, you've already seen these because she's knitting them up. But I love this color so much too. It's a solid color this month, which I don't think happens very often with Yarnable. But it's the color Mossy Hollow on the plush sock base. Can you tell that I like this color? So I have no idea what I'm going to make with this. I've had inklings of potentially doing the Geo Gradient, the KAL. I haven't decided completely. I don't know what I'm doing, but part of me thinks, hold please. I have these solid colors. Hold on. Like, do I do this? Or do I do this? It'd probably be more in this order. Like, is this my geogradient? Is this my geogradient? I don't know. I can't decide on a color palette. I don't know what to do because there's also like, this is pretty. I don't know what to do. Do I want to commit to the KAL again? Do I just want to work on sweaters? So, I don't know. Anyway, I love this color. If anything, I think it'll be a muscle burra, even though I did buy a pretty cashmere green from a homespun house that I was going to do in a muscle burra, but it's so gorgeous. So this is the color for this month. And then here are the little extra goodies. Comes always in this little nice reusable bag. And this month we got some like stationery items, which is fun. We got a little bookmark that clips. I got sticky notes with a little fox on it. And then little page flags, which are also forest and cute. So those are the extra little goodies this month. A nice, fun, woodland themed box, which is always fun. And it's a really pretty green. So then I was looking, and Brooklyn Tweed was doing a, I want to say donation. They're doing a fundraiser donation where if you bought Reply yarn, they would donate part of your purchase to the relief in Maui. And so I wanted to take part of that, and I ordered a sweater's quantity of yarn for that. So I ordered this color. This is the Reply Bramboulet in the color Refuge. So it's like a dusty dark green. And Brooklyn Tweed sent this little info about the Rambouillet. And so this is a DK weight yarn. It's 6-ply worsted spun. And so with this, they take excess production and twist 3 strands of lace weight yarn into a worsted spun DK weight yarn. It's a high twist, it's luxurious, soft, and springy with excellent stiff definition and durability. And so I think it's really lovely that it's kind of done with they re-ply yarns together to make this. So I bought this with the hopes of making a stick season sweater by Rebecca Clow. It's currently in testing, but it's a really beautiful textured Gansey sweater up here and then stockinette in the bottom. And I thought this would be gorgeous. I do plan to make that stick season for Shane, so whether I make one for myself is debatable, but this I think is just a beautiful DK, and I got 700 grams, so I should have plenty of yardage to do any project that I want to do. So then I was watching Needles at the Ready last weekend, and I went online and I bought some of their yarn. So I bought 2 skeins of the Superwash BFL because I love BFL and it's hard to find a sock BFL, I think. And so this is, it's fall, y'all. 100% Superwash BFL, 75% BFL, 25% nylon. And this was a single brew, which is their one of a kind, and it's purple moss. I think this color is gorgeous. Very Halloween-y. And then I went and I was watching Kay from the Crazy Sock Lady's newest podcast, and she showed moose and merino. And if you know me, if you've been around, you know moose are my favorite animal. I want to see a moose in real life. And so just because of that, I went and I checked out her Etsy shop, and her colors were gorgeous, and I ordered some. I messaged her also saying that I love moose, I love your name, I've placed an order, I am excited to show them on my podcast. And so I ordered, this is a DK skein. This is called Harvest Dance. It's such a beautiful fall, and honestly this chartreuse is what sold me. So I bought this to do DK socks, and it's 100 grams, 85% superwash extra fine merino, 15% nylon. It's a really nicely twisted DK and really soft. So I love that. Here's kind of the skein. It's a really pretty orange and chartreuse and pinks and just fall. Such a good fall color. And then I also bought a fingering weight. This is Saunter sock, which is 85% superwash merino, 50% nylon. This is such a gorgeous base, and I love these colors. So I'm definitely feeling the fall mood, the fall colors. I'm glad to have some fall yarns in my stash. I also pulled in this basket right here all these fall colors, and so that's what I pulled from when I was caking up yarns yesterday and getting ready to start some socks. But the other thing is Maddie from Moose Merino, she also sent me a really cute moose stitch marker because she knew I loved them. She sent a really lovely note, and oh, come on, this moose stitch marker. There we go. It's so cute. I love it so much. So thank you, Maddie. If you're watching, I know you said you wanted to check it out, but thank you for this little gift, and I love your yarn. It's so beautiful. So please go check her out. Yeah. The last acquisition I have is my Nest Fiber Club. I ended up getting an 8-ounce subscription this month, so it was Targi, and the color is Cassiopeia. So 2 bags worth. Just because I feel like I can get a little more yardage and options from that. So those are all my acquisitions. That's all my knitting. That's all the stuff. I definitely did a lot more acquisitions considering my knitting went down. I think that's kind of what happened. I'm like, I'm not getting as much knitting time. Let me buy stuff. But yeah, that's all of my knitting and fiber adventures. I'm still working on my spin for a tessellated pullover. It's taking a long time, but that's okay. And yeah, I've still been reading a bit more. So currently what I'm reading before bed is the Ballads of Songbirds and Snakes, which is like the prequel to the Hunger Games. The movie comes out later this year, so I wanted to read the book first. And then I've been listening to Hi Buddy, listening to Hellbent, which is the sequel to Ninth House, and I remember finishing Ninth House and really wanting to know what happened next, so it's definitely sucked me back in. So I've been listening to that while I've been knitting or spinning, and yeah, it's been a lot of fun. Anyway, this boy really wants to go on a walk. And thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. I hope you got a little bit of knitting done. I hope you put a little bit of love into every stitch you're making. And I will see you guys again in a couple weeks. So until then, happy knitting, happy fall, and I'll see you soon. All right, buddy, say goodbye. Bye, friends. In case you were wondering, this is what he does. He sits in my crisscross lap. And he just sits there. Oh boy.